lights are off and away they go.
Extremely loose. He's managed to hold on and they get.
He missed the complete. That is crazy stuff.
Side Freitas is on the grass on the infield 4. He slides through. He tags Richard Eck.
If you're a regular viewer on the Global Sim Racing channel, on our YouTube page, or on iRacing Live, you've seen 13 different organizations racing every week during the year. Today, all 13 of those organizations are at one track for an all-star invitational. Now, some of these organizations race on ovals, some of them race on road courses. So what would be the perfect track for us to do? Let's think about this. How about a roval? How about a track called Monza, the only track that has a configuration for both in one race? That's where we are. Autodromo Nazionale Monza. I practiced that, I promise. And today we are here to see which organization can bring their A game and win this all-star event. Good afternoon, everyone. Chris Scala alongside Sean Ambrose. Richard Losper is here with us also. Joe Peak working hard behind the scenes in the truck and, of course, keeping us behaving. And Dougie Beard always manning the many cameras that we have around this track. Sean, Monza. It's a tough character, especially when you put both the oval and road course together, as you see on the map. That's no joke. That's the track. You're bringing a B car here to race, which is a pretty heavy stock car. Let's talk about Monza and how tough it's going to be.
Yes. Autodromo Nazionale Monza is a racetrack located near the city of Monza, north just of Milan, Italy. They opened up in 1922. It's the world's third purpose-built motor racing circuit after those of Brooklands and, of course, the hallowed grounds of Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Buddy, we got a heck of a track on board for you today. 11 turns, 6.213 miles, I think it is, and we're going to get 100 miles in today. You know what? I can't do justice by just talking about this track. Who really can is Amjad Yaman in the Global Sim Racing channel, Impala B-Car 2000 from 2011 here. Let's watch him take a lap around this magnificent track.
All right, we've got Amjad Yaman in the GSRC Impala, so let's do a lap around Monza. Across the start-finish line, the first part of the course is going to be the oval, except in this case, we're turning right instead of left. The old oval is bumpy and narrow, so expect the brave drivers to be the only ones to attempt passes here. Drifting too high or daring to go too low can upset the car, and in close quarters racing at these speeds, that'll end a race in a hurry. Be aware of the fall off for the banking and corner exit because the car will want to push outwards. Along the wooded backstretch, there's not much to it other than to keep your foot down and take some time to check your relative box or your fuel numbers. At the end of it, it will be important to line up your entry though. Stay high for the best line and let the camber naturally swing the car low. The second half of the oval presents a very unique challenge of its own. Coming off, you're going to see the entry to the road course has an abrupt transition. You might not get air, but the car will get light. It's also even more narrow than the rest of the track, so I wouldn't advise forcing a too wide situation. Now we're on to the usual front straight of Monza. Speeds are going to be astronomical, and drafting is likely to play a part in the strategy game. Expect a big game of chicken as you approach Curva Grande. We're bypassing that first chicane, and just before the first red banner, you'll have to throw out the anchors. This sweeping right-hander requires much more bravery and skill in this track layout, but it makes for some heart-stopping battles. As you exit the corner, swing to the right, spot your brake marker, and slow the car for Della Roggia. Watch out for the giant curb on the second apex, because taking too much of it can send you around. Just clip it lightly and try your best to keep the wheels planted for better traction. Then, it's a short blast to the first Lesmo, which on the surface looks like a simple 90-degree bend. Try to late apex this corner and use the camber to your advantage. There's not much time to relax before the second Lesmo as well. This one is sharper and a lot more important to your lap time. Come out of here too hot and the car will lose time clattering over the grass and gravel. We're starting to get towards the end of this very long lap, but there's some more challenges yet to go. Coming up is Ascari, which is faster and more open than the other chicane. It can be a passing opportunity if the car in front botched the last Lesmo. The keys here are not taking too much of the sausage curves and setting up for the last apex to give yourself a decent launch. If you manage that, you'll find it a lot easier to defend going into the Parabolica. In these big, heavy stock cars, the braking zone is fairly long, so passing is a much more feasible prospect than in higher downforce machines. But remember, your exit from here is highly important to your lap time because you won't be off the throttle again until Curva Grande. Having to lift or getting on the gas too late can cost you many tenths of a second. However, after 2.5 minutes around this place, steel yourself because it's time to do it again as we finish a lap around Monza.
And that there is a lap around this historic track, and you see the high speeds that you have in the straightaways, and all of a sudden you got the S's that you got to put up with, and what makes this Monza track so unique and why we call it a roval. 200-mile-an-hour speeds on the straights. This is the perfect track. And Sean, let's go through the details of what these leagues and these organizations are going to go through here and what it's going to take to win.
Well, we've got 13 leagues being represented today, and they're going to be running the Chevrolet Impala. This is the B car from 2011. Some know it as the COT. Now the setups are open, and now here's the big deal about that. Been a lot of work going on over the past couple of weeks, guys, getting ready for this race. Setup is going to be key today. A lot of different theories about how to get this race in. 4 laps to qualify and put your best time down to find a spot on this big grid today. It's going to be 17 laps, 1 required driver change, 100 miles. Okay, so again, that's 1 required driver change. This is a team event, no fast repairs. This is an easy track to bang the car up. You want to watch out. 90% of fuel. Okay, that's if you run it all the way out, that's maybe 11 laps, close to that. Incident cap, 21 X's today. That's off the course into another car. Certainly a lot of places to get off course here. The chicane is tough. Ascari is tough. You're going to have to watch out and take care of that over these 100 miles today. The track state started at 19%. They had a 3.5-hour practice session, and now they're going to have this 20-minute qualifying session. So the track is now starting to wear in and get ready for some racing. The weather is dynamic, and what that means is that's kind of the roll of the dice with iRacing. It's the weather that you get. And today we get a beautiful day, partly cloudy, 79 degrees Fahrenheit, 86 degrees Fahrenheit on track, Chris. A little bit of wind from the east at about 4 miles an hour and about 39% humidity. And baby, you know what that tells me based on these qualifying times so far? We're in for a fast race today.
Yeah, and they're in the middle of qualifying right now, Sean, and the times are just tight as can be. I mean, the Premier Racing League, the Car 101, and that's the league. I thought about this when I was at my other job today. I'm like, these guys are going to be, I think, a little underdog.
It got a 229 on the board. Yeah. My, oh my, that's a magic
very
number
nice
right
lap.
there.
And the 101 car, that's being driven by Scott Eckrich and Josh Garupa, so that's a pretty fast lap for those guys. But we want to bring in the guy who put this race together, and a genius idea from Sox Out Racing, as we welcome in our good friend Steve Burbage from Sox Out Racing. Steve, I got to ask the question, obviously, where did this idea come from? It's genius.
Well, it starts from our Road vs. Oval Championship, which we're actually running today in conjunction with the event. And the beauty about Monza, especially this configuration, is it truly does give the elements of the super speedway and running side by side, drafting each other, as well as the technical elements of a road course, and it puts it all together in just a fantastic venue. And honestly, we're just really lucky that iRacing has just such an accurate scan of the full course like this.
So what are your expectations, Steve, for today's race? I mean, Sox Out, you got your guys up there P2 right now, and you got these other great series, from IndyCar Series to Road Series. What do you think?
Yeah, if there's anything we've learned from our series over the past year, is that qualifying really isn't the whole story. I mean, it's one thing to be quick in a lap, it's another thing to be quick in a race, and our guys really aren't used to sharing a car, so that's going to be a new element for them. So it'll be interesting to see how they do. You got other leagues that are like IDA that are more accustomed to that, Champion Motorsports as well. So, I mean, just a lot of deep talent out there, and really just look forward to seeing how the race progresses.
I'm right there with you. It was a great idea, Steve. We're looking forward as they wrap up qualifying right now. We're looking forward to the race. We appreciate your time with us. We wish you the best, and hopefully we'll put on a good show, and we'll see you next year for this.
Sounds good. See you then.
All right, that is Steve Burbage, the owner from Sox Out Racing, who has put this whole race together, and we appreciate Steve's time. Right now, we're going to call it a grid. All the teams are here, and let's take a look at the starting lineup for the Global Sim Racing Invitational here at Monza. On the pole is the Premier Racing League yellow team with a 229.483 second lap. Congratulations to them. 0.6 of a second, Sean. They beat out the Sox Out Racing orange.
Yeah, that I'll tell you what, that's quite a qualifying effort there. Sox Out Racing Gold, going to start on row 2 there. Third, DGFX Racing Green in fourth.
See, that was the guys I thought that might be the guys to be the favorites in this race, that DGFX team, which they're starting fourth. They're looking good. The Lionheart Series, the orange team, they're going to start in the 5th position alongside the second Sox Out Racing team. The red team going to start 6th.
And the IDA red team going to start 7th. Premier Racing League Green, 8th.
Pacific Majors, those guys you see racing Sunday nights, some of the major series, are going to start 9th there alongside the Absolute Beginners, white.
All right, down on the row 11 we go. Big field here today, and they're going to go all the way around here. But we'll go to row 11, and that is... Sorry there, Chris. That's going to be Brian Yazik in the Premier Racing League car. And then on 12th, that's going to be Pacific Majors Blue.
Got the Absolute Beginners yellow starting alongside the Absolute Beginners red there in row number 7.
All right, in row 8, it's going to be IDA Purple starting 15th. WSU Motorsports Black 16th.
Row number 9, going to see the WSU Motorsports Blue team alongside the IDA Blue team.
And then in row 10, it's going to be, row 11, DGFX Racing Red and DGFX Racing Blue in row 11.
Row number 12, you got the QRS gray team and the Championship Motorsports team there in 24th.
All right, Lionheart Black. That's Lionheart IndyCar Series starts 25th. Championship Motorsports 26th.
Got the Lionheart red team. They are starting alongside the Bootleg Racing Black team, the one entry from the Bootleg Racing League, starting in 28th.
All right, 29th going to be Audubon Blue. QRS Black going to round out 30th spot there.
And last but certainly not least, that QRS white team. Sorry to step on you there, Sean, but
no, that's okay.
We're getting ready to go racing here as the cars are going through the final bend here. And if you watch me a lot on the Global Sim Racing channel, as Sean knows, I'm not the road racing expert, so I learn the corners as we're going here, as I do have a map in front of me, but nonetheless, I got the oval part covered, so we can do that, and that's what we're going to do first. So pace car pulls off the beautiful Porsche iRacing pace car. They are underway. How about 17 laps of racing at Monza? We're green. Now, Sean, the one guy I don't want to leave out here, Richard Losber's joining us here this afternoon. Now, Richard, we're on the oval right now, so we're turning right, which is kind of weird and very hectic because it's a tight corner on the old oval here. But, Richard, as we come to the road course section, these heavy B cars, they got to be tough to handle around this track.
Oh, yes, indeed. A very good evening or good morning, good afternoon to all the viewers. Very tough, my friend. This is, of course, as we all know, an oval car. It was designed and built to run on oval tracks. This oval is slightly different, being that first of all, it turns right, and the groove is not exactly defined on this oval. Nevertheless, when you
get the car off.
Oh, we got a big wreck.
Yeah, it was
Caution is out. The full course caution has been thrown.
No!
They did say in the race they would throw a full course caution if necessary. It's Vincent Brem, the Absolute Beginners white car. Great job keeping it up against the wall. But that's going to bring the caution now. That was a very bad part of the track as we see it on replay.
And it looks like Brad Walsh might have collected him from WSU Motorsports white. But look at that on screen here. Vincent Brem gets wild off the exit of the oval there. Tank slapper. And you see Brad Walsh come by. The WSU car gets right to the back of him as he was going by.
How did more cars not get in that wreck? we're going to go on board with Brad here, but just amazing driving by most of these guys, because that's a very tight section. That's where that wall comes out there and can grab you. And you see them come off this corner, speeds of 190 mile an hour off that corner, and bam, that wall comes out there. That green wall to your right just grabs you, and I'm just surprised there was not more cars involved in that wreck.
Well, car didn't it didn't bounce around like a pinball through there like it can happen. So we got a little bit lucky. It could have been a lot worse for the back of the field there, but unfortunately for Brad Walsh, that's going to be pretty heavy damage on the front of that Chevrolet for WSU Motorsports White. I keep cutting off the U there, Chris.
Yeah, it happens. But it is the first caution, full course caution. Scott Eckrich in the Premier Racing League Yellow Team, the number 101. He was the leader there. He got out to a pretty good lead. And we'll lead lap number 1 here of the 17-lap race. Now, Richard, you were talking a little bit about that. We had to cut you off at the wreck. But these cars are not fun. Well, I mean, they're fun, but they're not easy to drive on a road course, let alone a bunch of chicanes.
Yeah. Yep, and you're quite correct to cut me off for that wreck there, and bad luck there for Vincent Brame from absolute beginners getting that car into the wall. He did a great job in keeping it in the wall and not causing trouble for more people. However, let's get back to the road course. So this car, as we said, it's an oval car. When you get this car on the road, first of all, you've got to force it to drive on the road. You've got to change the setup of the car dramatically to get it to drive on the road. So that's the first thing. The car tires is a big thing. Tires wear a lot less on an oval track than they will on a road track where you've got left and right turns. They've made the track slightly easier in that they've taken out the first chicane of this track, which is the really, really toughest chicane of all on any track. The second chicane is going to be very tough on the car's tires, and then you've got the Ascari bend, which is a mild chicane for cars that are supposed to drive on the road, but for this car it is tough. The braking, this car is not even accustomed to doing a lot of braking, so getting the brakes to even work is a problem. All in all, Chris, it is a really, really tough car to drive on the road.
And let alone going over 200 mile an hour turning right. Most oval people, we turn left when you're driving on an oval, but we're turning right, and then we get to the road course part, and it's just a very tricky track. Not to mention you got that hump that you come out of the, I guess you call it turn 4 as you come back on the front straightaway to start the road course portion, and you could almost say that kind of caused that wreck maybe a little bit, because those cars, they don't necessarily jump, but they get light.
They do get light, and that's exactly what happened to Vincent there. The exit off there, the transition, not so much a hump, but just the way the track transitions gets gets that car up in light, and
there's the hump right there.
Yeah, exactly. And Vincent just lost it. Sometimes you got to find yourself catching it, and what you don't want to find, Chris, is what you like to talk about. You don't want to find yourself swatting flies up there in the cockpit.
We don't like flies in a car. Flies are no good. What's the first thing you do when you get a fly in the car? You try to get the window down. And other cases you're trying to swat them, and that's exactly what you do in that situation. That's the first caution right now with Scott Eckrich from the Premier Racing League leading this race, Sean. And that was some pretty wild 4 turns we got through there.
It was, and unfortunate there for Vincent to get in trouble, because we were about to start watching a battle down into Grande, and that was the battle I was waiting to see. Now we're going to get another chance at it here when we restart. But remember, only 17 laps today, 100 miles, and we've got to get one driver change in. So a lot of strategy being played. Some of these cars, some of these teams have started with their best driver first or their best driver second. The number of laps may be in question. We do know that you can't do any more than about 11 laps on a full tank. So there is a number. We haven't hit that window yet, but we may see some of these drivers start to bail early once we get out of this caution flag.
Now, Richard, we talk about the strategy here. Sean is mentioning if you're leading the race, if you're wanting to strategize, what is the best scenario here? Do you go halfway and do the driver swap? What do you think?
Well, it depends on what driver you put in the car to start with. If you've put your, dare we say, your second best driver in the car, then you want him to do a fairly short stint and give your best driver the opportunity to do the longer stint in the race. So that's a first thought. The second thought is what is actually happening on track. If the racing is very close and you're leading, for instance, you want to avoid giving other drivers your draft because they all using you to keep their speed up. So you might want to get off the track early and get your other, get your pit stop done and get your other driver into the car. So a lot of strategy comes into this. I dare say that these guys are very happy about a caution here because it makes the car go slow and they can actually keep it on the track, which you're not going to see too much of as the tires wear off. That's the other thing. Depends on how the tires work for you. If the tires are really going off quickly, which we don't know, I'm not sure how many of the guys did a lot of testing with this car. So Chris and Sean, there's a lot of strategy going to go on in this race, and we have to just roll with the punches here and see how it all turns out.
That's what makes this a great challenge. That's why as soon as I heard about this race, I'm like, yes, I need to be here and check this out because it's really cool to see. And we've got a great show on our hands. Yeah, we have our first caution out with Vincent Brem, unfortunately smacking the wall off of the oval fourth corner. But you're going to see some very long pace laps around here. Obviously, at this very big track, they're just coming off the oval section or the road course section, so they should be getting one to go. And look, we got pit stops here. Eckrich is coming to pit road.
Right,
some of these drivers.
Not a surprise. I was actually getting ready to talk about tire wear here, and that's something we're going to have to look at today. The tire degradation is real, and they fall off quick. You really get about 3 to 4 really quality laps, and the tires are shot. Getting to that full, if you're splitting the run 7 to 8 laps per driver, getting to the end of that run can be very costly in loss of time around the track. You have to change everything, your driving line, you've got to back up your corner in the chicane. It becomes a real challenge. So not surprised to see a few guys duck in and maybe take tires right now. Not a bad idea if that's your end game in play. And we did see several drivers now on pit lane making that choice to come in, but the leader ducking out and lots of guys keeping it out. Eric Blakeston, David Jakes, Ryan Otis, Christian Challoner, all those guys keep those cars out on track.
Well, the interesting thing here, Sean, the driver change already in the 101 car. Scott Eckrich is out. Josh Skarupa is in the 101 car. So the driver swap has been made. I'm not sure if we had the other driver swaps too with these other teams or if they were just getting tires and fuel. I'm assuming there were swaps because they were on pit road for a long time, all of them. But we could be seeing the swaps happening already.
Well, in fact, Brian Yazik got in for Kevin Filarski in that PRL car, and Brian Mellendorf gets in for James Krahula in that PRL car.
Let the strategies begin already, as they only had to make one driver swap. So basically, does that mean these guys are going the rest of the way? Or, are you going to go for a couple laps and put somebody else back in the car? Because, you know what I'm thinking here, that's going to shorten that pit stop up at lap 11 or whenever they come in.
And not to mention, it takes time, at least 30 seconds to change drivers. So, wow, there's a lot of strategy. But, interesting, Sean, that you mentioned the tires having such a very short life on this track here. That's going to be a major factor, obviously. And we've seen it already. By the way, just a note, there was another driver that suffered after that issue that Vincent Brame was involved in. That was Fabian Youngbloss, because I saw him sitting in the pits for a long time. So I'm not quite sure if that was a separate incident. I'm suspecting it was the same incident, but certainly Fabian was in there. He's out of the back on the track now, but Vincent has, I think he's parked the car behind the garage wall.
Yeah, Fabian definitely back out on track. after sitting in for 6.5 minutes, so he's a lap down now. Vincent Brem, that car is actually still in the pit. Brad Walsh from WSU Motorsports, we talked about the front end damage on that car. That's a shame for Brad. He's been a consistent fast runner in all the practice sessions. He's now been in the pit for right at about 3 minutes, so hopefully maybe trying to get that car repaired and get back out here and get some points for the team.
Well, right now, things have changed up front. Eric Blix is now the leader of the Sox Out Orange Racing Team. He stayed out while the others came to pit road. So Eric Blix is going to be the leader of this race when we go back to racing, as I believe the lights are out on the pace car, the off on the pace car. So we're going to go back to racing here. It's going to be at lap number 3. We'll have 14 laps to go. So the strategy here, Richard, road course, you always want to try to not spend as much time on pit road. So if you're now the drivers who came to pit road did the driver swap, Rich, do you come back to pit road if you haven't already here to top off so you can try to have the shortest pit stop possible, say in about 3 laps or so?
Yeah, this is the first time we've done this. There have been other road races where you have oval cars, but this is really the toughest race that I've ever seen with a road car. I mean, they run at Watkins Glen on a regular basis. The cars are set up for that sort of thing. I'm inclined to say that it's going to be dependent on tire wear. The tires will force you into pit lane for sure, and it's then a decision on whether you keep your best driver in the car or you change drivers again. So I guess what I'm saying with all these words is that I really don't know. The drivers might not even know. They're going to try and figure it out as we go. Now, they've only done 1 hot lap so far. So this is really, even though we're on lap 3 and heading to lap number 4 when the pace car pulls off, this is actually the 2nd hot lap for these cars. So I don't know, my friend.
That's what makes us fun. We love the unknown. That's what makes racing great, the unknown. And that's what we got here going on. And
all right. Well, they're making their way through Ascari now, which means they're going to set up, come down this straight here into Parabolica, and they're going to cut them loose.
That Parabolica is one tricky question, one tricky corner. Parabolica, it's a very sharp corner, and then it kind of widens out as you get to that front straightaway before you get to the oval park. But Ascari, another one of those tricky corners going downhill into a chicane. And anytime I play like an F1 game, this is always my favorite track. I love Monza because of the straightaways.
Well, what you got to think of real quick is the fact that these cars, when they come down to the Parabolica, they're doing over 180 miles an hour. And their speeds are incredible. I mean, a Formula 1 car doesn't get to that sort of speed, or similar speeds anyway to this car. It's incredible. But here we go. We're getting ready for a start.
Yeah, pace car is off. Eric Blix, Sox Out Racing Orange Team. He is your leader. David Jock in second. Ryan Otis, Christian Challoner, Joshua Rogers. They are your leaders as Blix takes the green. Let's see if we can get through the oval section into the road course section as we head all down the long straightaway. And no, you're not looking backwards on the screen. They are turning right on an oval. Takes about a whole, half a straightaway to get these cars up to speed. Everybody pretty much single file. The first battle is back here at the 10th position. Gary Hamilton, the IDA purple car, in a fight with the WSU Motorsports black car, Cordell Cologne. Look at these cars. The draft is a huge factor here.
Boy, Patrick Fleming really slow back here in the Autobahn Blue machine, dropping back through the field. I don't know if that's by design or not, but he is dropped fast. Bootleg Motorsports getting by the Bootleg Racing League. Christopher Hensley getting by, taking that last spot from him, but he continues to drop through the field.
You know, I don't know if it's safe to be side by side coming off that corner with the hump. We got a battle for third on our hands, though. The draft going to work. Ryan Otis, the inside of Christian Challoner, I should say, on the outside as they go into turn number 1. I guess this would be turn 1 because there's no chicane.
And you can see how they struggle to break that car down to acceptable speed. Going into the chicane there, that's the second chicane normally. Now the first chicane on this track.
Oh! Jeroen Ursum is off in the chicane there for QRS White.
Brett Frozen, I thought it was in the car.
Big trouble, yeah, big trouble for him and De La Rosia.
It's got going again.
Heavy damage.
Coming around Grande here and going to make that fast trip down here. Going to get the car into braking, and when he did, it got loose on him. He makes a little bit of contact, brakes too deep, hits that wall, heavy damage to the front end there for QRS White.
Almost wonder if he had too much rear brake in the car there, or something like that. Got a little wheel hop and lost it. Look at all these cars taking it wide as they come out of Ascari. Use that road all you want to.
Christian Challoner on screen there for Sox Out Racing Gold. Trying to hold off David Jakes from DGFX.
Yeah, they actually took second away on that lap. So Challoner went from fourth to second. And we got a Sox Out 1-2 right now with Blixton Challoner. A few weeks ago, Sean, you and I covered Challoner dominating the World Cup of iRacing when we were at Atlanta and Imola, which is right up the road here from, well, not really right up the road, but in the same country here of Italy, as he won both those races, and here he's looking to win another one.
Well, I can tell you another car that's moving forward is our 8th place with Jason Fleischle, the 09 car with Jason Fleischle behind the wheel as they work the oval now, and they'll be coming off the oval soon back onto the course proper. And Jason Fleischle making a move. He's now coming up on the number 8th place there of Joshua K. Rogers, and he's making the pass as we speak.
Fleischle, the drivers champion there in the Pac Majors League. And you might be, now we don't have favorites on the air, but let's just say that if Joe Peak behind the scenes had a favorite, maybe because of home state type of thing, maybe Fleischle is his guy, but we'll keep that between Joe and him. Needless to say, Fleischle looking pretty good in that Pac Majors car in the 8th position. He's under attack though from Rogers. Got through that chicane a little bit there. And Rogers falling back all of a sudden.
Yeah, Rogers is falling back.
Did he have a slowdown?
Cordell Colon gets off in the dirt there just a little bit. Allows, was that Zachary Hanlon that got around him there? Yeah, the 061. Cordell Colon right on his bumper there coming off the turn. That was close.
So the question, did Rogers have a slowdown?
I don't know.
If that's the case, that would be why he slowed down out of that corner.
Very well could have been. Yeah, exactly. Bad spot to have to slow down with those cars trying to get around. Battle up just ahead of them. That's Joshua Rogers battling there with getting by the fan belt. Johan Vanderbilt, absolute beginner's yellow. Johan going to try and get him here in Parabolica.
Long sweeping corners. We complete lap number 4. Haven't seen any takers to pit road. Richard and Sean mentioned about 11 laps on a tank. So if you're going to do this, next lap would be the lap. If you're going to open the window up and get to pit road and do the driver swap, this is when you're going to do it. Now, if you're somebody who's done the driver swap, my opinion here, I'm getting to pit road next time by and just get the tires, get the fuel. You're not going to need as much fuel. Get out. And that could get you some track position here, because this is going to be the closest you're to the leader as you spread out throughout the race.
Yeah, I think you're right. And they work in the oval now. Sox Out Racing Orange and Sox Out Racing Gold out front. David Jake, I've been watching here in the DGFX entry. He's been traveling very, very well in 3rd place, and I think he's making up time on the 2 leaders. We'll get a time as they pass the line here now. He is about 2.2 seconds off the lead as they go down to the first chicane. They work that right-hander there, and let me tell you that even that is tough in this car.
Find me a corner. It's not tough at Monza, let alone in this car. But last time behind the fastest car was Challoner, the 236.38. Blix ran a 231.3, and Jake's ran a 2:31.7 as you ride on board with Challenger. 2:31.7's all the way down.
Okay, I got to get to another battle here because it's developing quickly. Johan Vanderbilt for Absolute Beginners Yellow is right now on the bumper of Jason Fleischle.
Rogers on Vanderbilt now.
I'm sorry. No, that's Rogers on Vanderbilt. My bad. But Vanderbilt is actually moving up through the field, charging hard, up 5 spots.
Trouble up the corner there. He got 2 cars off to 61 of Hanlon has spun.
Nelson.
And Nelson, the QRS gray car, the 113 has spun.
Dear oh dear, QRS not doing too well. We've had one of their cars already in trouble, the white car. Now the gray car in trouble as well.
I believe that's Curva Grande where they went spinning at there. No.
Yeah, that was in Lesmo 2.
Oh, second Lesmo, okay.
Yeah, they got around a Lesmo 2 there. Nobody gets into him, though. That's a pretty good job.
Yeah, it was just 2 solo cars. Don't think you saw any damage on any of them, so we continue on.
Up front, David Jakes being overtaken by Blake Reynolds. The Pack Majors driver, Blake Reynolds, taking the position away. David Jakes, the hot shoe from DGFX, getting passed on the straight.
That draft, these cars do draft. Now, I've been seeing about top speeds close to 200. They haven't quite hit 200. But these cars, nonetheless, are digging pretty fast as Challenger continues to try to catch Blix. That separation of only about 0.7 of a second. And you got Ryan Otis in the 3rd position, that Lionheart car. You know, that was something I was wondering, too. These Lionheart guys, they're in a stock car, normally run Indy cars, but they got that road course experience. I expected them to be pretty fast.
Yeah, Ryan Otis, no slacker. Indeed, one of the hot shoes from the Lionheart IndyCar Series and from several other places. A national champion autocross driver in the real world. He is definitely going to be one to watch today. He will be handing that car over to, I am trying to remember right now, and it is slipping my mind. Oh,
we got
on board with
Yazik. Wait a minute, so we don't have to mention his name for him to have issues, it looks like. Let's see, Yazik, Premier Racing League Orange.
And he's being challenged at the moment and overtaken by a couple of cars.
Oh, Yazik down that apron. That's not a good place to be at this track. And you mentioned Yazik in trouble back there.
Guys, this battle between Joshua Rogers and Johan Vanderbilt is it's getting pretty dicey, guys. They've separated just a little bit. Vanderbilt trying to get away and work on Fleischle there just in front of him. But Josh Rogers, now the gambler, not letting him go anywhere. He has been working over the rear bumper there in front of him. He's getting a good run on him right here. Gets a great run through Ascari, gets right up on the bumper, going to get right into his draft here, deading down into the straight into Parabolica.
And that right there's a little bit of a drafting portion you get to as you get to Parabolica, and then you get on the straightaway.
Hits him! Oh, he hits him! Oh! He's going to drift it all the way through!
He did hit the wall, though. He hit the fence, rather. And Joshua
more contact
Rogers.
to 91 and 63. Hamilton turns.
And
Fleischle.
Oh.
Caution is out, second time.
And right there at Parabolica, that's going to bring the caution out.
And nobody pitted.
Well, Fleischle's in. Fleischle put it right in. He's got front-end damage on that Pack Majors machine.
I think that was one of those they were trying to get back sorted out after the wreck was avoided, and there wasn't room for 2 or 3 cars there.
Wow.
And Fleischle pays for it.
And how about Johan Vanderbilt, guys? He managed to keep that car pointing in the right direction.
Ow.
And he's got damage, but he's still going.
That's where I thought that line he had hand and feet on the wheels trying to save it.
For sure.
But second caution comes out, lap number 7. We're just about the halfway. I'm pretty sure if you're coming to pit road now to get the swap.
Yeah.
Now, this is really where the guys who did the swap earlier, and I'm looking at one driver in particular, Brian Mellendorf. He's been on pit road and has worked his way up to the 11th position in the 102 car. He will likely be the leader off pit road here if everybody does a driver swap here because they did the swap. They just need tires and fuel and going out.
Well, what we need to do is look at what our leaders are going to do. They've been running clean 1 and 2 socks out racing, and they are the ones to watch now. Will they bring the cars in and get some fuel and tires? One would think so.
Well, I don't think you want to hurt your strategy either, because if you don't do the driver change now, you're chancing it on needing another caution to do the driver swap, because if you do it under green flag, you lose all your track position. I think right now is the time to do it.
Exactly, I would agree, and I'm pretty sure most of the drivers who run longer races, not sprint races, or do pit stops, they will know this, and they will be coming in. I will bet a lot of money that virtually everyone's going to come in and do a tire swap, and a tire change and a driver swap.
Well, here we go. Our leader Eric Blix coming down the straight now, getting ready to come into Parabolica is where they'll peel off for the pit lane.
And being followed by Challoner as well as they come through the Parabolica. And will they be turning to the right to go into pit lane? No.
Okay, well, I guess
pits
they're
are
going to
not
go
open.
Okay, the pits are not open yet. That's right.
Yeah, they got to catch
the pace car. Yep. And they've caught it, actually. Blix is catching it now, just at the end of the straight, heading into the oval. So we'll have to go around one more time here before the pits will open up for everyone to go on in and get that done. But I think it's a certainty that we'll probably see this whole field come in on this pit stop, because let's face it, guys, when we come out of this pit stop, it's going to be time to boogie.
Right, and not to mention, Richard, let's talk about this too. With the long track here, it takes a very long time to get around here. It takes a long time to catch the caution car, too. I mean, you would think here in the next 6 minutes about or so as it takes to run a lap around here, if these other cars will catch the back of the pack and have a fair chance on pit road. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, absolutely. With such a long pace lap, the cars will be bunching up again, and then we'll see them all head out into pits, and when they come out, they'll file in behind the pace car again, and then that'll be when we get a restart. That'll be around lap 11, lap 12. So it's gonna be fun.
Somebody's over in the
That was
trees
George
off turn
Anzaldo.
2.
George Anzaldo, I think.
Was that George?
Oh, he was showing as being off track for a little bit.
Yeah, it was. And Zaldo, oh, geez.
Yes.
I hope he didn't have some sort of a technical failure or something there.
And he's got severe damage on this car as well.
Oh, no.
Oh, wow. A checkup looks like that's happened, and unfortunately, George has found the jungle.
And Bamfield as well.
What a tough break. George is going to hand that car over to Ron Hacker.
Wow. We had to go on board with George. That was a ride.
Ouch. Yeah.
I mean,
hung up on the fence there. Had to tow it in.
Thankfully, George didn't hit a tree. I mean, if we remember, George is a jungle.
Yeah. Watch out for that tree.
Exactly. We had to put the joke out there. We feel bad for George, but hey.
Alfonso in the tree. No, sorry about that for George.
Yes, we feel bad. So, but we know he's alive, so we're okay to throw that joke out there.
Chris, I want to give a little shade to our buddies from the Bootleg Racing League.
Yeah.
They are up 8 spots in 20th. Got a top 20 run going. These guys have the toughest day of anybody ahead because none of these other leagues are racing today. Chris Hensley and his teammate are going to have to hop in an SK Modified tonight and wheel themselves around Lanier in the penultimate round of their season right now.
Yeah, we need to make sure they don't win tonight, because that's our flight back to get to outside Atlanta there for our race, which, by the way, Sean and I usually do Saturday nights. There's your shameless plug. 9:15, you'll see that. Got that covered.
Going to be hopping a flight with the Bootleg boys. The Lawrence towing jet is on the tarmac, ready to go, baby.
And no, we didn't bootleg it. So Richard, your impression so far, what do you think?
Well, I think that the best of the race is yet to come. We have our leaders on lap 9. They will come into pits. They will they'll get some fuel. Now, 17 laps, so we're just over halfway. So we might see another pit stop before the end of this race. But judging from what the leaders did, they stayed out the full 9 laps. So I think that they would make their pit stop now. This is Socks Out, Christian Challoner and Eric Blixt. And they'll go the rest of the journey to the end of this race. By the way, I just want to make mention, I'm not sure if you guys have mentioned it, our pace car is, of course, the brand new iRacing pace car now. It's one of the Porsche cars, and it looks a treat.
Oh, it looks beautiful. I want to drive it. Give me
the
in
roof. It. Yes. Yeah, I like it. I do. The reaction has been mixed in what series it should be leading and it doesn't matter. It was time to park the Mustang for a little bit and give us a little something fresh to look at, and I've got no problem with the Porsche being up there up front, baby.
Well, and you're probably hearing the complaints more from the oval guys, which would make sense because we're used to, if you're a NASCAR fan, you're used to seeing Mustangs and Chargers and trucks and things like that leading the field. We're in the road series, you have these kind of cars. I mean, you look at the F1 car, that, that's obviously not a traditional Mustang or something like that, but these road cars, I think that's where you're hearing the complaints from. It would probably be the oval guys, but you know what? iRacing's not an all oval game or a sim. It's a road course, soon to be dirt, confirmed.
Man, they could put a radio flyer up there in front of the field, and I wouldn't care.
Let
me see the green flag. It's time to go racing.
The quote is, "You can't make everyone happy." That's what it comes down to.
Well, I would think the pit lane would be open now, so we'll see these guys come in, eh?
Going to be a busy place.
I agree here. Look at some of the cars that already pitted, by the way, to update those guys. The 102 car, Brian Mellendorf, he is 11th. He was the first off of pit road, the best, I should say, off of pit road in that run. You got Big Joe Hassert there in 13th. You have Josh Skarupa. They were the leaders, the pole sitters in the 101 car, the Premier Racing League. They're 16th right now.
Yeah, so
that's your best three. And here they come to pit road. Everyone so far coming. And I think that's the idea here. And you know what? This ought to be a factor, too. 31 cars on this pit road.
That about maxes it out. Actually, I think it's 32 positions at here.
And not to mention, there's no lines. So you're just kind of hopefully following your guy to pit road. Everybody's in.
Look for the lollipop.
Only you, Sean. Only you.
I'm sorry.
Oh, look at that. Jeroen Ursum stayed out. Well, of course, he was in the pits just before. So he is now our theoretical leader at this point.
I hear people leaving the pits already. So here come the cars that have already changed drivers. As mentioned, Mellendorf going to be the first off pit road. Here's where that strategy comes in. The 101 scraped the wall coming out of pit road. Hensley is going to be second to Bootleg Racing Black Team. Uh-oh, Sean.
Yeah.
Skarupa there coming out third. Yazik, but I think Skarupa scraped the wall there. So all the cars that changed drivers in the previous caution are now the leaders off pit road. That's where I think that strategy just played good for them.
Dawson Brock got in for Brad Walsh in a WSU car. Mick Asshouse. No, I'm sorry. My bad. I was reading an update there, missed it. I'm looking for drivers making any changes here. Not many changes going on.
As I'm looking here, I would think everybody who did not change a driver last time by changed drivers here, hence why you have Mellendorf going to be the first off pit road. He'll be second now. You're going to have Christopher Hensley in the third position. As we do, you see the rundown there on the leaderboard in front of you on the screen. Hensley's going to be in third from the Bootleg Racing League. Look out, Sean. Our guys are in the bootleg are looking pretty good right now. You're going to have
Josh Skarupa
there in the fourth position, and from the Premier Racing League, Brian Yazik, also the Premier Racing League. That were the pole sitters. Actually, Skarupa was the pole sitter there in fourth. Yazik there in fifth. You're going to have Josh Wolf. He'll be in the sixth position when we go back to racing.
Boy, this really, really shakes things up. Socks out, finding themselves back a little bit in the mix here on the grid. Mika Eshouse going to be there in 7th. Justin Krutoff sitting in 8th. And you've got James Paulson has gotten in for Ryan Otis in that Lionheart orange car, and he is now slotted in 9th. And rounding out the top 10, that's going to be Sox Out Racing Red Dustin Wardlow in that car now.
And how would you like to be Jeroen Ursems leading the pack on this restart with a damaged car?
We're going to see how these tires, not only that, but older tires. So we're going to really see how this goes.
Couldn't be a nicer guy at the front of the field, to be honest with you. I love it. I'm glad he's going to get the lead a lap here.
Well, we'll go
I'd be scared to death, quite frankly.
Oh, I would be too. I'm right there with you. But then again, I'm not a road guy as much. But going through the rest of your field here, we had Dustin Wardlow, you mentioned there in the 10th position, guys. Pierce Cockey there in the Absolute Beginner's Yellow in the 11th position. You got Sam Sutton, the IDA Red, running in the 12th position. David Williams in the 13th position. David running the Pack Majors Black car. Justin Strickland, the IDA Purple car, in the 14th position. Lionel Callisto there in the 091, the 15th position. That is the Pack Majors Blue car. The little train, as we call it.
The little train, Lionel Callisto.
Got Mikey Grems, the DGFX Racing green car. Again, these DGFX guys I thought would be competitive tonight. They run road courses galore. Trevor Vavorsky, that's how it's pronounced, the WSU.
Vavroski. Trevor Vavroski.
He's yelling at me right now behind the scenes, probably. From the WSU Motorsports Black car in the 17th position. Richard McLaurin, 18th. That's the DGFX Racing Red. Robert Bluen, the Lionheart Black car, in the 19th position. 20th, James Stacy, the Championship Motorsports Green car. Simon Feigo, I believe that is, the IDA Blue car, in the 21st position. 22nd to 42, Gene Hancock, no relation to John, in the Championship Motorsports Black car, or maybe he is, who knows. Adam Young, the 093 Pack Majors White car, in the 21st position, or 23rd position, that is. Gene Fiddles, 24th in the QRS Gray car. Dawson Brock, 25th in the WSU Motorsports White. Sean Reese in the 21 Autobahn Blue car in the 26th position. You got Andy Banfield, 27th in DGFX Racing Blue. Ronald Hacker, Lionheart Red in 28th. And the final car that's still left in the race, David Burns in 29th from the Absolute Beginners. So it's been a great field.
Burns just getting in for Fabian Jungbluth, and Ron Hacker got in for George Anzaldo, who we saw there at the beginning of this caution period in that checkup, having trouble. But Chris, the lights are out on the pace car. Great shot here on screen, watching that field come down the straight here. We're getting ready to go racing here real quick. Once they get through Parabolica, it's going to be time again to set them loose.
So the question I have, you think that's the last caution?
Ooh.
No.
Richard was pretty definitive.
Ominously, guys, 3 of the Premier Racing League cars are in the top 5. That's impressive. Going to be, let's just say, interesting.
QRS White, the lead car with some damage and older tires. Ursum, they have made their driver swap, I believe, so they're going to go for it here. 7 laps to go, and we take the green. Ursum's going to take him to the green with Mellendorf, Hensley, Skarupa, and Yazik. Your top 5, they stack up. Boy. Look at the restart for Skarupa. He might get black flagged.
Yeah, I'm thinking black flag, yeah.
Oh, and he's dropping like a rock. Everybody trying to get by.
In the corner.
Woof.
There's barely room for one.
And Ursum still up there. He is showing no fear whatsoever. He's being challenged there by Mellendorf, but he's hanging in there.
How bad do you want it? As they're spreading out 3-4 wide mid-pack as they go to 3 and 4, they got to sort it out.
And Mellendorf breaking away there, Chris. He is he's overtaken Ursum, and he's streaking away from the pack at the moment.
Skarupa did get black flag, but they're petitioning right now saying he gave the spots back and he get his black flag cleared. So we'll have to see how that happens with the 101 car. Actually, I believe is he on pit road? There is somebody on pit road. Or it might be actually the road course section or the oval section.
They
I'm
are
getting mixed up with.
three wide heading down into Grande.
Not a good idea. And I did get mixed up with the oval. The 101 is still on the track. As they go down
into the game.
Variante, this is going to be tough.
Three wide. Oh, boy.
One car's around.
Yeah, that's Hensley. I think that was Hensley that gets around in the chicane area. Had a little bit of help.
Oh, the bootleg guys. Oh.
Ursum in trouble as well. Ursum off the track, being overtaken. And he's giving it up at the moment. Wisely, probably. And I tell you what, Mellendorf is our leader at the moment. Mika Essel's in second place. Mika coming up there on Mellendorf, making a really, really good attempt now as they head down through the Ascari bend.
Oh, Ursum off the track. He's out in the kitty litter.
He's been out there most of the lap, my friend.
he's unfortunately going to have a bill, it looks like, from the track soon.
Okay, look for the overtake from Essel's now. He's right on the tail here of Mellendorf. This is the fight for P1. As they come out of the Parabolica, they'll head down towards the oval section. Let's see what Mika can do here.
Looking out the tail of Isos, as you mentioned, from Sox Out Racing, trying to get that draft in a 122 car.
Guys, battle back here for 10th place. James Paulson is in front. But here comes Trevor Varosky trying to split the middle of his round.
This is going to be
Trevor's
big.
off. He tried to split the middle. It didn't work out. Now he's back up on the track. Oh, contact.
Oh, I thought that was going to be worse.
And now he's got smoke coming out of the car. He's done.
Yeah, he's done. Trying to see who the other car was that clobbered him.
And
it sounds like the 101 is going to get the black flag. They're calling it basically he had the pass made before the green came out.
Dear, oh dear. I see race control talking to
they're going to clear it. They're going to clear it. Skarupa is saying that, I gave it back. I mean, at least I did that. And I think they're going to clear it here in a second. They're three wide.
Lionel Callisto with trouble. He made a little bit of contact with the car in front of that was Justin Strickland, 98 Purple. He makes the contact, goes off the track. A close moment there for the little train for Pacific Majors Blue. Still battling there in 11th place. Oh, and he's sliding hard down into the chicane.
Wow.
Lionel Callisto having quite a ride here, guys.
Variante is giving people issues. Or De La Rosa, I'm sorry.
It's De La Rosa there, yeah.
Meanwhile, up front, it's still Brian Mellendorf leading the race. Mika Essel's chasing. Mika was right up on his bumper as they came to the chicane. Now as they come to Ascari again, he's right up there. He brakes a bit later than does Mellendorf. But he can't make the pass. Mellendorf coming out of the turns very, very well indeed.
As they go through Ascari. What great racing this is. The lead up front from Mellendorf about 0.4 of a second. Make that down to 1. A good corner for, is it Essos? I'm trying to get that one right.
Yeah,
Mika Essos.
Mika looking to make the move here. He's in the draft.
Oh boy, Lotto Callisto guys still having trouble. Gets off in Parabolica and almost takes out 3 cars with him. Wow.
This is the closest it's been. The closest it's been for 1 and 2. Essel's right on him now.
He should be
unwilling to go down. Yeah, he's a little unwilling to go down because it's real tough down there. Now there's a little bit of cover. A little bit of defensive driving there from Mellendorf. This is the fight for P1, guys.
This is awesome.
Mika Essel's looking really good, I'm thinking.
They're coming to 4 laps to go. Or actually, I should say this is the middle of the 5 laps to go here, part. I get the oval and road course mixed up once again. You got these two. You got Skarupa 2.6 seconds back. That's your pole sitters there into third position. And Sean, as you would say, somebody's got a barbecue going on, it looks like, over in Parabolica. You can see the smoke as you go through, coming out of the oval turn 4.
Yeah, somebody had a little bit of trouble over there. I didn't quite see who it was. Just watched James Paulson actually get passed by James Stacy for Championship Motorsports Green, trying to get up to the top 10.
Mellendorf's had issues.
And
That's what I'm seeing here is the 132 car, Brian Mellendorf.
now he's leading 102.
The one. Interesting. Okay, well, I'm getting mixed up here because I got it's Trevor Vovorski. Some reason on my screen it's showing Mellendorf, which is interesting.
Yeah, if he's in the pits, it's an iRacing fault. iRacing just does not show the name properly.
Victim of the glitch.
Yeah, Mellendorf in the lead, under attack from S-House right now.
Darn you, iRacing. Just kidding.
Watching this on screen, and it is a good battle, but Mellendorf starting to pull away. Going to get it down into Parabolica. Let's see if Mickey can make a little up here.
Slower cars up front of the leaders, so this is going to make life a little more interesting as they come up on slower cars. At the moment, Mika Eshaus, he goes in deep, but Mellendorf comes out of the corners a lot better there, Sean. So this is what I've been seeing over the last lap or two. We're on lap 14, so not that many laps left to go. And now they head back onto the oval again for lap number 14.
Now, normally in a race, I would say here, guys, this is the, we've hit the point of no return, but I've been noticing about 2 laps they've been going in caution. So we still got about 2 laps before we get to that point. We got a good battle for 6th here. Let's look back here.
Yeah.
DGFX Racing, Mikey Grems, Dustin Wardlow. Wardlow running that Larson line through the Oval 2. That's the high line, Richard, in case you didn't know.
Mikey Grems, the DGFX C7 Corvette driver, got quite a battle going on with Wardlow right now.
That is one bumpy section of the track right there.
It sure is. Mikey running a really nice tight line through there, though. The car looks really smooth. Makes the transition really nice.
Dustin getting a run.
Dustin getting a run.
That high line, you know what? That high line gets that RPM up. But here you go, though. You're going to be going into a right-hand corner here with the...
Okay, here's where it gets really tight. And it looks like Dustin Wardlow just backed it down a little early because he didn't like the idea. And they come now down to the braking area for the first chicane, or this is normally the second chicane. They break it down nicely.
Very nice.
Take the right-hand turn.
Oh, good Lord, Mikey.
He's still holding on.
Still having trouble.
Dustin,
Mikey.
go.
Dustin got him for 6th.
Yeah, Mikey Grems got a bit loose there, but he's still in it. He kept the car pointing in the right direction. Now they go through the right-handers there, and they will be heading towards another chicane, which of course is the Ascari, but a nice little lead there from the from the Premier League driver.
So now just... Go ahead, Sean.
Kind of opens the door for Sam Sutton a little bit there in the IDA red car. He's now closing in on Mikey Grems. Going to be the next one to attack him.
Should mention that the lead up front's 1.2 seconds. That's why we're staying back here now. That lead is stretched out a little bit with Mellendorf. Not sure if Essos had a issue or something, but he's now 1.4 seconds back. So Mellendorf's starting to stretch it. But how about this right here? Let's go back to this 9th place battle. David Williams, Justin Strickland, Simon Feigl, as Strickland trying to make a move underneath the Pack Majors. Williams,
oh boy. Tough day for that Pack Majors car.
Williams.
Looks like he got loose and then got helped.
Just outside pit lane.
Oh, he's not going to take it in. He's going to try and keep it out there.
Well, he got such an interval. He's only, right now, Williams is still 13th, so he hasn't lost too much. Make that 15th, looks like.
That car is crabbing, though. David's car is not feeling very well right now. It's going to be tough getting it around at speed.
Now, the one thing I want to point out here is we're now 3 laps to go, guys. Mellendorf is from the Premier Racing League. That's an oval league. Yeah, they run some road courses, but an oval guy is leading this race and pulling away.
Yeah,
we expect
it's
that?
not that surprising, Chris. I mean, a large part of the track is oval, and that's where you got all the speed happening. And I have to say, they've tamed down the road course. They've taken out the first chicane, which would have been just horrible for these cars. They've taken that out. So I must say, just looking at David Williams, still doing a nice job there, Sean, just keeping that car on the road.
Oh, and I totally understand that point, but that's a 2.6 mile oval. You still got 3.6 miles of a road course.
Yeah, but it's a fairly tame road course without that first chicane, let me tell you.
Guys, I'll tell you what, Mika Eshaus really having trouble with falling into Skrupa's hands. Right now, Skrupa is on the charge. I'm afraid Mika may have burned those tires off just a little bit. He's having trouble hanging on because here comes Josh Skrupa.
Yeah, Skrupa, that was tough.
This trip through Ascari is going to be fun.
Should mention, guys, the top 6 is Premier Racing League and Sox Out Racing.
And here comes Skrupa on Mika Eshaus, who was running in second place. And now there's a challenge there. He's on the outside. They head towards
That's
the Parabolica,
pass.
the 1-2-2. Hanging in there. This is tough. This is tough. We got Josh Skrupa
Over under.
going under, and he's gonna. I think he might get it done, guys. Yes, he does.
Skrupa.
They'll definitely get it. Turn 1's a right-hander. Oh, nice pass. Will the draft here maybe a little bit?
Mika Eshaus still in there. Mika Eshaus still in there. Now they go towards the oval. Now they're on the oval.
Oh,
Mika
push
Eshaus trying. Oh, they're very close on the yellow line there. That's a tough area of the course to be on. Mika's gonna try on the inside. Will he get it? No, he backs off a little bit.
Didn't think you could tandem drive at Monza.
No, very tough to do, but they're doing it.
Should mention, fastest lap that time by is by far Mellendorf at 2:33. But look at the point there, Sean. 3 seconds off from the fastest lap in the race. These cars fall off.
Guys,
Mika trying to get his position back on the 101 car. 122 of Mika Eshaus on the 101 of Mr. Josh Skrupa. He passes him momentarily on the road course. Now Mika is a road course driver primarily, so he gets it back.
Strong move by the 122.
Here comes Skrupa again. He backs out as a break, and this is heartbreaking, trying to get that car settled down into the chicane. He does do it. Skrupa still in there. Mika under challenge.
Skrupa gonna make a move again, though. Oh,
And
tight.
they touch.
what a battle. Guys, another battle back here. Wardlow just gets passed by Mikey Grimes. Wardlow makes a quick mistake. Mikey Grimes takes over 6th place. The DGFX driver not giving up.
This has been fun, boys.
Everything it was cracked up to be. I can't believe it's almost over.
Mellendorf coming through Ascari. He's going to be coming to the white flag this time.
Yes, indeed. And now it seems like the battle between Eshaus and Skrupa is over. We have this the Premier Racing League driver moving into 2nd place, a confirmed 2nd place. Although, here comes Mika. He's sliding the car around the Parabolica. He keeps it on the black stuff. It goes out on the green a little bit, but now he's lost a lot of time. Premier Racing League, Brian Mellendorf leading. Premier Racing League, Josh Skrupa in 2nd place, confirmed.
It is 1-2-5 for Premier Racing League. The final lap, we are on 6.2 miles of racing around Monza.
PRL, who knew? Boy, those boys come out here and flex their muscle today.
You know what? Something I've been noticing too is I am a part of some group chats with Premier Racing League. They've been running a lot of road courses during their off season. I've been seeing Suzuka, Motegi, and stuff like that. They might have brought their road talents over here with that.
Oh, we're still battling here between Wardlow and Mikey Grimes. Wardlow getting around, Mikey right in his draft. This battle continues for 6th place. Mikey all over him.
You got that battle. You got a battle for 15th also with Bluen and Young. But this is the one we're going to watch. Warlow under attack here.
Oh, Mikey got to be smooth. He's got to be smooth.
And will he go down low? They come to the flat section of the course now, heading towards the road section. And Mikey Grimm still behind. And in front of him, of course, Wardlow.
198 down the straightaways here. Looks like they're peaking out speed-wise. Surprised they're not hitting that 200 bills.
That is 312 kilometers per hour, guys.
That's amazing. No battles up towards the front. This is your best battle right here for sixth. Yeah. Mellendorf, a 6-second lead now. Oh, contact with the Trying to chrome Mortem in the chicane.
Oh boy, this is really good stuff.
Mellendorf's coming to Ascari for the final time.
What a run by Mellendorf today, the Premier Racing League driver. The green team, that purple and green machine has been hot ever since that last restart. And the PRL has been tough to beat today.
Well, they've always said that green is bad luck on an oval race. Apparently green's not bad luck on an oval. How about the Premier Racing League? As they come through Parabolical. Off the corner. The 102 car, Premier Racing League, and Brian Mellendorf brings them to the checkered flags and wins the Global Sim Racing Channel All-Star Invitational. Skarupa going to bring it second along as he comes off the corner. And he does. It takes second. Sox Out Racing going to finish third with Esholz. Yazik going to bring it in fifth. And how about Kruthoff?
Yeah,
so
and
Premier, Sox out, Premier, Sox out. So they dominated today.
Wardlow did hold off Grims.
Yeah, Wardlow going to win that battle there in the closing turns of the race over Mikey Grims. That was a great battle between those two.
Wow. Boys, that was fun.
Lots of cars still making their way across here.
Wow. And look at this. Isn't this beautiful to see? All the three Premier Racing League cars together there, guys. Have a look at that. Take a photo of that one.
And James Grahula, by the way, the other driver in that 102 car.
There's our photo right there for the Facebook page, guys. Premier Racing League.
Well,
and how about Sox Out Racing? Sox Out Racing, fantastic job by them as well.
Yeah,
DGFX with a good run.
Yeah, DGFX. And how about the boys from down under there, IDA, with a nice showing, getting themselves there on the podium. Those guys putting in some really hard work at some very uncomfortable hours.
Well, what we're going to do is we're going to go to break here, and we're going to get the drivers who finished in the top three. We'll get the podium all set up here, and we're going to take a deep breath because that was wild. But we'll be back on the Global Sim Racing Channel. It is the All-Star Invitational. Back at Monza, the All-Star Invitational is complete, I should say. And, let's just say it was PRL and Stocks Out Racing dominating the top 6. As we look at your final finishing order, you'll notice that common theme right there at the top with Brian Mellendorf and James Grahula taking the win in the 102 car. Premier Racing League Green first, Premier Racing League Yellow second, Stocks Out Orange, Stocks Out Gold, your top 4, and then Premier Racing League Orange finishing in the 5th position, Stocks Out Racing 6. So they locked out the top 6, which is pretty crazy. DGFX Racing Green Team finishing in the 7th position. Then you got a couple of IDA cars, 8th and 9th, and Absolute Beginners finishing 10th. Sean?
All right, and then CMS Championship Motorsports gets there in 11th. Lionheart, the IndyCar Series, James Paulson, he was partnered with Brian Otis. They finished 12th. QRS, late entries, Gene Finnis, going to finish 13th there with his teammate, and 14th, going to go to Pack Majors Black. Lionheart gets another car there in the top 15 there, 15th for Lionheart Black. 16th, going to go to Pack Majors White. 17th, DGFX Blue. Lionheart Red finishes 18th. WSU Motorsports, and what I've got to be honest with you, is probably going to be a bit of a disappointment for them. They worked awful hard going into this thing and couldn't catch any luck today. They're going to finish 19th for the blue entry, and CMS Black going to finish out and round the 20th there spot.
21st there, Richard, you had the Absolute Beginners Red. Bootleg finishing 22nd. The Racing Black Team Bootleg finishing 22nd. They should be pretty proud of that, considering they run tracks pretty much under a mile. So I can imagine how 6 miles was. Audubon Blue finishing 23rd. DGFX Racing Red finishing 24th. Pack Majors Blue 25th. QRS White 26th. IDA Purple 27th. And 2 WSU cars there, 28th and 29th. You mentioned, Sean, off the air that that's got to be heartbreaking for those guys. And then QRS Black finishing 30th. And last but certainly not least on the field, the 013 car finishing in 31st from Absolute Beginners White. So got a lot of guys to talk to here as we go to Victory Lane here on the podium, which I got to remember, it's a podium on the road courses, not Victory Lane, but the Victory Podium. And we'll bring in our winners, Brian Mellendorf and James Grahula from the Premier Racing League. These guys are definitely happy campers after tonight's race, or this afternoon's race, I should say. They've had their practice and whatnot. And James Grahula, you started this race in the 102 car, and you and Mellendorf definitely had the strategy, got the caution early, put Mellendorf in the car, and the rest is history. You guys went to work and were able to go to Victory Lane. Talk about the strategy.
I ran the heck out of that oval and then gave it to Brian.
Well, Brian, you fantastic job. You pitted, or Grahula pitted, gave you the car, and you worked your way through the field. You were up to 11th at the second caution, which gave you guys pretty much the upper hand to just get the tires and fuel and get out.
Yeah, I was questioning the call, but everyone on the team decided that was the right thing to do, and made us look pretty smart.
Talk about the racing out there. That was some wild stuff with you, and I know you had a little battle with S-House there for the lead for a little bit, and you kind of were able to pull away, but the oval, the road course, how tricky was it out there?
It was very interesting. It was a lot of fun. My biggest thing was just, don't make the mistake and keep it pointed in the right direction all the time.
Now, James, you're the man behind the Premier Racing League. I know you got to be proud to have a first, second, and a fifth in this race.
Yeah, I think when everyone was kind of getting ready for it, I think that they just look at us as an oval league and they don't realize that, last year we had 4 road courses on the schedule and we have 6 on our cup schedule for next year. We had just run Monza 2 days before they announced this, just on the GP layout without the oval. So we were excited. I grabbed my best road course guys out here, and it was a lot of fun. Yeah, I mean, Brian. Oh, first off, I didn't do anything on here except make these guys run road courses when they sign up for a stock car league. But and Brian will also tell you he did all the work today. But Josh Skrupa and Scott Eckridge, they put in hours to make this setup and get us a good advantage out here. I mean, it was all of us. It was a giant team effort. We take this type of stuff seriously. We want to represent the league well. And Socks Out, they put on a very fun event. We had a blast with it.
Absolutely, and you guys did a great job. And Sean made mention to me that you guys have won the league points, 149 points when it's all over with tonight, beating out the Sox Out Racing guys with 144. So first, second, and fifth did the job for you guys. But send a shout out to whoever you'd like to before you guys start spraying champagne all over us.
Well, I'll go ahead and do my plugs here. Come check us out over at www.premierracingleague.com and join in the crazy.
Thank everyone on the team and the league for working on the setup. It was amazing.
Well, congratulations, James and Brian, and go celebrate your win. And Sean, I believe you're going to catch up with the guys who finished second, which happen to be Premier Racing League members with Skrupa and Scott Eckridge.
Yeah, caught up with Josh and Scott, our second place finishers today for the Premier Racing League. And okay, let me start out with Josh. Let's talk about the restart and what happened there. You wanna lay that out for us real quick?
The guy in front of me just went ever so slightly, so I had thought everyone was already going, so I went and made a little contact. I apologize for that, and once we were in the clear, I kind of let off to let everybody by. I apologize for that. I just saw the guy move forward ever so slightly and thought it was time to go.
Well, it was time to go, and I'll tell you what, you guys put on quite a performance today. I understand that you and your teammate here, Scott Eckridge, had a lot to do with the setup, and I want Scott to talk about the setup and how important that was to really the end game and picking up what is now a victory for the team. How important was that, Scott?
Yeah, I mean, it was just, we could tell that this place was extremely abrasive, so we put a lot of effort in getting that speed from the 4th to 8th lap instead of just, putting down that quick lap. So I think, we showed that we had some really good long run speed here, and I think that's ultimately what made most of the difference there.
Well, domination by the PRL caught a few of us off guard because, of course, you guys are in traditionally what some would like to think of as an oval league, but you guys run plenty of road courses too. So, pretty nice mix of talent there in the PRL. And man, you two did a great job in that machine today. And hats off to you, man.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. Me and Scott spent way too many late nights together. We're probably gonna have to take a break from that. But it was a blast. Thanks to Sox Out Racing for putting this on. Of course, first and foremost, GSRC for the broadcast, and of course James at PRL getting this great team together and all the hours they put in. Especially congrats to Brian and James for that win.
All right, guys. Well, we will see you next time because I've heard a pretty good rumor that this is definitely going to happen again. So we don't know where or when, but we'll get that information out as soon as we know it, and we expect to see PRL back and probably back on top, or at least close to it. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, Chris. Now that was our second place finishers, and we're going to hand off now to Richard Losper, and he has caught up with, let's see, who did we have for Richard there?
Yeah, we were going to give him the third place guys, but it doesn't look like they are in the room here. So
yeah, it doesn't look like they made it. That was Mika.
Well, let's go to the fourth place guys, and that would be
Justin Krudoff. Got him in here.
Yeah, Richard, we'll let you talk with Justin.
Okay, we will talk to Justin Krudoff. Justin, you got a copy?
Yeah, I got you.
Right, so you guys finished up in 4th position. We were getting ready to talk to your teammates, Eric Blixt and Mika Esas. They couldn't make it into the booth here. But tell us about your race, Justin, because you guys were up there. In fact, Sox Out, Sox Out qualified in 2nd place, and you guys qualified in 3rd place. So tell us about particularly the early part of the race when you guys were right up there before the first caution came out.
Yeah, I mean, we were pleased with a good qualifying, and we wanted to use our advantages that we had, seeing as we had experience with this kind of thing before, to pull out a lead. That caution kind of hurt us a bit there, but I think we showed that it's kind of our forte a bit.
Well, you certainly, out of the top 6, there were 3 Premier League drivers. Did that surprise you that the Premier League guys were fast and, guys were seeing a lot of purple in front of you?
Not really. We've had a few of our guys have raced with some of those guys before and knew the kind of skill set that they had. We knew they were going to be tough. What really shocked us about those guys was how early they pitted. That took us all by surprise, and it ended up paying off for them.
Right. And just a last question for you. Talk a little bit about the car. How difficult was the car to handle around this place?
It's a challenge like I've never had before. This track puts so much load into the tires, and this car doesn't have the best tires to begin with, so it's really tricky to keep the tires on it over a run, which is what ended up costing us the race.
So in other words, you're saying it nicely, the car's a pig to drive.
Yeah, you could say that. It's definitely difficult.
Well, congratulations, man, on that 4th place there. To finish a race of this nature is an effort and something to talk about in itself. But to finish in 4th place in the top 5, it's great to do so. Congratulations to you and your teammate. And we hope that you guys will be back if we do indeed run this again. Thank you very much for talking to us.
Yeah, thanks, guys. We'll definitely be back whenever there's another one.
And back to you, Chris.
Thanks, Richard, with Justin, who finished there in the 4th position with Sox Out Racing. Now, before we bring Steve back in here, who, of course, put this whole race together, Sean, I believe you have the results of the RVO, or Road versus the Oval?
Yes, sir, I do. And it is time to discuss those results. And today, it is going to be the Oval drivers actually getting the edge on road. Now, these series, and if you notice it on the side of the cars, were classified by basically what type of series they are, whether a road series or a traditional oval series. And as you can see, the Premier Racing League and the effort that they threw down today, a traditional oval series gets them ahead of all these road guys, which honestly, the field a little bit more slanted to the road side. A bit of a surprise that we see the oval drivers take this win today, but a big win indeed for them, and they get bragging rights until we do this again sometime next year.
That's awesome, and the reason why I say it's awesome is because you always get those people that brag the oval guys only turn left. Not today.
Yeah, not
they
today.
win the left and right battle,
today indeed.
Which is great, and that's part of the reason we had this race is. We want to bring in our good friend from Sox Out Racing as Steve Burbage joins us back. Steve, was this what you wanted to see? Was this exactly what you thought?
Yeah, I mean, it was one of those things that, or at least what we saw, is the Oval guys are really strong, especially when they put their mind to it, to the road course. And in our last series, Oval dominated the Road versus Oval Championship. So it was kind of a mirror of the last thing we saw. So we kind of hope that maybe in 2017 with our series, we see more road guys trying to take on the Oval guys, see if they can take it back.
Well, and we'll have to see. Now, I'm going to go ahead and ask the question because I'm sure everybody's going to want to know any date timeline of when the next one will come?
Yeah, our series are going to start in February of 2017. We're finalizing the schedule right now. But we can say for the V8 Super Trucks that I know a lot of people are looking forward to, it's going to start off at Interlagos. And that'll be towards the end of February.
Well, there you go. And that's all the fun that we're going to have with Sox Out Racing, of course, and the All-Star race that we get to sit here and wait for. As you mentioned, Premier Racing League going to be kind of keeping their heads held high here for the next while because they won this race. But Steve, you did a fantastic job putting this race together. I know it's a lot of work putting a race together, being someone who does it himself. And we appreciate you bringing GSRC in, and we look forward to future races.
We do as well.
So that's Steve Burbage, the owner of the Sox Out Racing team. He got a couple finishers there up in the top six tonight, third, fourth, and sixth when it was all over with this evening. But guys, I want to get your final thoughts before Sean and I jump on a plane. Richard, not sure what you're doing, but I heard Joe's buying dinner for you guys. So anyways, thoughts about the race?
You go first, Sean.
Oh, yeah, okay, no problem. I'm sorry. My thoughts about the race, first of all, congratulations to all the drivers, all the leagues that participated, because I saw just about every one of them here over the past couple weeks through all the practice sessions, getting ready and putting the time in. Some of these guys had a little bit of tough luck today. I'd hope for better for some of them, but what a race! Honestly, I wouldn't be opposed to doubling the amount of laps, to be honest with you, because that was really getting fun there in the closing moments of the race. I find myself yearning for more, and waiting until the end of next season seems like so far off in the distance. But we'll continue to see all of these great drivers week in and week out on the Global Sim Racing channel, and I can't wait to get 2017 started. We've got lots going on, lots coming here on the network. And Chris, Richard, just a real pleasure to be with you here at Monza today and witness this great event.
Well, thank you, Sean. And as far as I'm concerned, when I came out to do a few practice laps yesterday, my first thought was, yuck. But I changed that. The more laps I did, the more fun it became. And I really, towards the end there of my practice laps in the second session, I really thought that this was a really fun combination. And to watch the guys who worked really hard to actually do the race, to watch them in action here from the booth was absolutely fantastic. These guys, all of them, did a really, really great job. What I would like to see next time is us taking perhaps a heavy road car, maybe a GT1 car like the Corvette or something, and running that in the same sort of configuration. And that'll give those Premier League racing guys a different thing to drive. So that'll be interesting as well, so if they mix it up like that. So that's what I'd be looking forward to, but it's been a lot of fun, and it's been great working with you two guys. And Joe Peak, as usual, fantastic as our director. Dougie Beard is fantastic as well with his camera shots. So glad to be doing it, guys. Back to you, Chris.
Absolutely, Richard, and I agree everything you said. It's been a pleasure to work with you, Richard. I know you're a road course expert, and you definitely helped us out a lot today, and we had a pleasure having you there with us, Sean. Great job tonight. A fun race. I had a blast. I was like, okay, this is going to be very interesting, and I was worried about a wreck fest, but we didn't see it. We had some incidents, but only 2 cautions, and in the end, Premier Racing League showed their domination with the race today. So great job by them and everyone for being a part of the race, and we do appreciate them for doing so. I should mention real quickly a couple of broadcast updates coming up tonight. Again, 9:15 Eastern time. We'll be live. Sean and I will be we'll be off the plane by then, and over in Braselton, Georgia, right there by Road Atlanta. At the Lanier Speedway for the Bootleg Racing League. So hopefully you'll come join us for that. And then tomorrow, I should mention, if you're a fan of road racing, like Richard and Sean and myself, we got a fun race coming up 2:15 Eastern time. We'll be broadcasting this also. It is the Spec Racer Ford Week 13 Big Grid Race. So hopefully you'll come and see that tomorrow. But we got 2 big races coming up for you throughout the rest of the weekend.
And hey, Chris, you know what? I left this off the list for you, but we've got the Absolute Beginners League. Anything but beginners. They'll be going off at 1:45 Eastern tomorrow.
There you go. So make sure you check that out. Plenty of racing here on the Global Sim Racing channel throughout the rest of this year in 2017 also, as we get ready to start the new year. Special thanks to Sox Out Racing for putting on the GSRC All-Star Invitational, putting this whole thing together. Also thanks to the software and hardware that we use for our broadcast. You'll see listed there on the screen. Also thanks to our musical contributors, Eric Ekholm, Casey Lalonde, whose music you can find at the websites listed on the screen. Also thanks to our team, Richard Losper, as I mentioned, appreciate him coming in, Sean Ambrose, Horatio Peak, and Dougie Beard with those cameras, especially in the corners on the ovals at 190 mile an hour, had to be pretty scary. But if you would like to find out more information about GSRC, you can find all of our information at globalsimracingchannel.com, along with archive races and upcoming broadcasts. We're also on Twitter at GSR Channel and Facebook at Global Sim Racing Channel. As we mentioned, the upcoming races for other series, you can always check out the screens to see when those races are coming up, so you can mark them down on your calendar. Until next time, race clean, race hard, and we'll see you on the track.